and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Next is the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is the approval of claims for payment.
I'll make a motion to approve claims for payment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have Crisis Intervention Service update, and we have Jody and Lisa.
Yes. How are you guys?
Good.
I even printed off fancy stuff for you guys to have there. So I have been here before, but Lisa has not. So our main thing was just to introduce Lisa as our new sexual assault advocate. I'm gonna let her kind of introduce herself and let you guys know what she's been kind of getting rolling.
Okay, so I'm the new sexual assault advocate for both Hardin and Grundy counties. Previously was high school Spanish teacher in All Falls for 8 years. Stopped working there at June 5th and started working with this June 6th. So I have clients already that I'm working with who've been sexually assaulted. I'm also working in trying to get into the schools with doing some prevention education, like safe dates, or specifically the elementary with take charge of your body or care for your kids, like the good touch, bad touch curriculum. And just doing lots of outreach and meeting a lot of people throughout the different counties and attending a lot of meetings. To know people.
We also have a new domestic violence advocate that started back in March. She could not be here today, but her name is Danielle. Her and I also work together with the transitional housing program here in Eldora. So that's working out very well. We're full, and we do have a waiting list for that program. I also wanted to just update you guys as far as kind of what we're doing. Danielle and I are doing in the schools. We're going to do some prevention in the middle school and high schools in Hardin County. Trying to do some safe dates programs and maybe getting a support group for at-risk youth going. We're also been working with the state training school. We did a child abuse class out there, and then we're also talking with them about doing a group for like healthy relationships with some of the boys. And last October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so it's going to come up fast. We do have a few things that we're planning. We want to do some type of vigil or balloon release. We also have an art show in the plans, which we'll probably do in Iowa Falls, but it will be countywide. And then we also want to do some educational displays around the county. Where you guys come into play is we would like to come back in October and have you sign a proclamation. And I know that you guys have done that in the past, so we'll be back to see you in October.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
No, welcome on board, Lisa.
All right, that's all we have for you, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is a change of status in the sheriff's office.
Looks like we have Charlotte Lemke, change of status, hourly rate of $9 an hour. It's a hire, temporary, seasonal, part-time.
Second.
We got a motion to approve Charlotte Lemke. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next is a resolution to approve Region 6 Housing Trust Fund, Hardin County required cash contribution, and we have Donna here for this.
Yeah, just a review or an update on what the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund is. In 2008 and 2009, the Planning Commission worked with the counties and the cities to develop a local housing trust fund under the organization, the State Housing Trust Fund. We work with Iowa Finance Authority, and they tell us how much money we can apply for every year. It is an annual application. allocation, and we have 2 years to spend each grant. So basically, we have 2 projects going at one time. The grant this year is $312,551 that we can apply for the 4 counties, and the match has to be about at least 25%. So last year, we had come to you and asked you for $15,758, and that was the 25% match. This year, we chose to keep the match at the same level, just because it might be a little bit easier for the counties to budget. Last year, we were able to apply for $341,000, so it's a little more like 25% that we were asking for you this year. That would get us, though, $57,759 in grant funds for Hardin County. The match and the grant funds are all divided on a per capita basis between the 4 counties, and the money that each county provides, as well as the grant funding that they leverage, are all spent within their county. So all of this would be spent in Hardin County, minus the admin costs. We work on providing low-income and moderate-income households with housing rehabs. We can do rental, but that is a requirement of payback. And then the low-income housing is basically 30% and under is no cost to them, and 30% to 80% of the median family income is a 25% repay, and that repay then will be whatever comes in from that is deposited in a separate account, or so that we can use it for future projects. So I'm not sure what all you need to know, or if you have questions that you would like to ask me about the program.
No, I think you explained a lot of it pretty well. You guys have any questions?
No, I don't.
Read through it. Yeah.
I can ask for the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to Region 6 Housing Trust Fund, Hardin County as cash contribution.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Ron?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Lance?
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is a resolution directing the county auditor to place proposition on the general election ballot. And what this is she's been asked by a trustee that we appoint the trustees instead of voting on them. Is there a motion?
Now, is this for all the
Any
townships, or
questions?
just
Yeah.
I think the 9 remaining.
9 remaining, right? Yeah.
6 of,
And then this doesn't affect the other ones at all? We're not it's just
No.
for the 9, right? Yeah. Okay. I'll make that motion then to go ahead and approve the resolution directing the county auditor to place proposition on the general election ballot.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Brian?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Lance?
Aye. Motion carries. Next is a resolution directing the county auditor to place the lost, which is local option sales tax, proposition on the general election ballot. And what this is currently we are doing 75% property tax relief, 25% capital improvements and maintenance. And if we want to change that, it has to be changed through the vote of the people in the rural service areas, because this would be the rural service property tax relief, or the rural service loss money. Is there anything else you really want to
I think it's just
discussion?
important to point out that it's not a new tax. It's just reallocating what's coming in and changing the direction of the money, I guess you would say, that we want it to flow to. And it is, like Lance said, it is specifically on the rural, unincorporated areas of our county, because the cities do their own thing with it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Excuse me
Yep.
if I may,
Go
before you
ahead.
actually take a vote on the matter. In preparing this resolution, I just tossed in some numbers that had previously, I believe, been discussed by the board in regard to the new proposed changes or uses for that local option sales tax. Now, I don't think that the board had specifically decided on those numbers, but I just wanted to throw something in there. So I just want to call that to the board's attention in regard to that might want to take a look at the new
Percentages.
proposed, yes, at the new proposed uses. One other thing I did want to say is I know there was some discussion when we were doing this that under the previous scheme, where the wording was just specifically 25% for capital improvements and maintenance, that was somewhat restrictive in that it was just capital improvements, maintenance. It might not be any other type of capital expenditure such as equipment or anything of that nature. So I know the board had asked that perhaps include some language that give a little bit of leeway. I know there was a provision in regard to, I think it was one of the cities that was just super broad. And it included any other lawful purpose of the county. Well, I thought that might cut a little bit against what the code says in regard to specific purposes, at least once you get past property tax relief. And I guess I'll back up there a little bit. The code refers to, in regard to these local options sales taxes, that the governing body should, number one, put in how much they propose for property tax relief, and then how much for any other specific purposes. Well, like I said, I thought that any other lawful purpose might be a little too broad to be specific. So I utilized language that is in this, which basically says what we're including, capital improvements, maintenance. I did throw in equipment as an option, and then and other lawful purposes of the county related thereto. So we're going back to other lawful purposes related to the capital improvements, maintenance, and equipment. To at least give you some leeway there, but at least keep the relationship so it's somewhat specific. Okay? This is also included in here is pretty much the way, I'm not saying it couldn't be amended somewhat by the auditor's office before it hits a ballot, but this is pretty much the way the proposition would look. And the code requires that when you do a change, you have three things. You have the present uses, okay, as the way things are now, what you're going to, or the proposed change, and then the effective date of that change. That's another thing I wanted to point out, is I just arbitrarily, to a certain extent, put in an effective date of tax revenues received after June 30, 2015. What the code provides is that the effective date would have to be 90 days after the election or after the approval date. That's what the specific code section provides. So, I mean, that date could be anything, at least in my opinion, after the 90 days. I just threw in the end of the fiscal year to pick it up at the start of the new.
Okay.
Any questions?
So if we want it to happen sooner, we need to change the June 30th to 90 days after.
Could be that, or a new specific date. I mean, you could go with the code effective with local sales and service tax revenues received 90 days after November 4, 2014. I mean, that would comply with law.
Okay.
I don't know how well your Department of Revenue or other taxing agencies would necessarily care for that. I don't know if they like the bright line type situation or not.
Right. ask for a motion.
Can you read what the resolution says as far as what's the designation of division and the percentage?
Yeah.
That would be in the, okay, go ahead.
It'll be in the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution directing the county auditor to place lost propositions on the general election ballot to 80% property tax relief, 10% for capital improvements, maintenance, equipment, and other lawful purposes of the county related thereto, and 10% of economic development, community betterment, and other lawful purposes of the county related thereto.
You do anything with the 90 days or leave it at 15?
At this point in time, it's effective June 30th, 2015.
Okay. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I think this opens up the county room for helping economic development. It's really tough to find money for them sometimes, and this will set money aside that we're already being charged for. It pulls it from capital projects, and we're also increasing the amount of property tax relief we're doing in the rural services from before.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. I guess like I said at the start, it's not a new tax. We're just adjusting how it comes in, and I think bumping it up a little bit more for tax relief is a good thing, and economic development is something that we're always striving to be better each year, and we have some economic developer people in our county that do an awesome job for us, and we're trying our darndest to keep them supported and funded, and sometimes that's harder than easier. So I think this is a step in the right direction to help them out a little bit more. It's not the final answer, but it definitely keeps us moving in the right direction.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Iowa Wage Funding Agreement. And this is the agreement that Blue Cross has, and they're just changing the company for your flexible benefits.
Flexible spending account.
Yeah.
I will go ahead and make that motion to approve this funding agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is the acknowledge of receipt of DNR determination on the Buckeye Fish facility.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the DNR determination for the Buckeye Fish Facility, Section 30, Buckeye Township.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There are all utility permits.
No utility permits today.
Anything on secondary roads?
Sure, I'll just give you an update on some of what we're doing. We're still hauling riprap to bridge sites from the flooding and stuff. So pretty much all hands on deck there. We threw a track in our track hole the other day, but I believe we're up and running today. Our new tandem came in, and that's over Fairbanks to get the body and stuff on. And Utes tandem, the pup is built, so they want him to bring his truck over to get everything hooked up, make sure everything works. So that'll increase our hauling capacity. And then I don't know how directly related this is to secondary roads, but it involves our bridge there on the east side of Pine Lake. Since we had the meeting, Ron, with the DNR and local interests, the really haven't heard anything. But I have been contacted by the landowner twice. The last time was Monday, and he hasn't heard anything. Nobody's returning his calls. Also a local citizen that's very interested in the project, Dave Petty, hit me up this morning again. So I'm not sure where we go from here. We've tried, we've got the word out. We're doing what
The
we
bridge
can.
is on schedule for 2017.
It's in our construction program,
I think
and
that,
with all the permits and everything, we've got to have a year and a half at least.
yep.
So, if this is something that wants to be done, you have the landowners cooperation, they're interested in it. You have the local entity, as in us, ready to go.
We were with a state group on Friday of this last week applying for a large grant for our area, and it was on that list of projects. So I think we've done what we need to do at the local level for this project. We've offered it the opportunity, so they probably need to write some letters here soon before we have to change focus and put a bridge in.
That's right. It's 3 ton and it's not going to get better. So we've got to get maintained across that. And 2017 is still 2 years out. So
Any other updates?
that's about it on that. We've got some pavement marking bids to open, and if we're ready for that.
Question on your Traco. The
Yes.
sprocket's getting back bad on the track, or why to throw the pin broke?
He was in the creek in there and
Okay.
wearing, and so it needed a new pin. And
Is that what
I
happened?
believe there's a place down south that it wasn't major, it just set you back there too.
And then the second question is on that bridge project with that, I mean, it's a really good project for this area, but we don't really have a lead person. I mean, you've been doing this pretty much, taking the lead on this project, haven't you?
I have, and
It's kind of above the call of duty for the county engineer, but yet something that's I mean, how do I want to say it? I think you've gone above the call of duty to include this program. You could have just put the bridge in and said,
Yeah.
the heck with it. But you've done a nice job of bringing it to the attention of everybody, but do we need a point person now besides you to?
and I don't know, I mean, maybe we need to really look at what are the possibilities of us just doing it, if nobody else is. That's something we can look at.
Okay.
But I wouldn't feel comfortable leading the project because, yes, it's improving our structure, but a lot of it's the environmental and the wetlands, and I don't have that expertise. I mean, I don't know if Wes would want to get involved, or maybe he doesn't feel comfortable with that either, So,
This whole purpose of doing this would make Pine Lake a cleaner lake
Right.
at the end. I mean, is that the end goal
that would
of
be the most beneficial.
Right. For drainage.
That's who's going to benefit the most, but it's reducing the stream bank erosion as part of it. And the landowners have done quite a bit already. They had to do conservation efforts back in the late 90s for the state to dredge Pine Lake. So they've put conservation efforts. It's the Pine Creek watershed. There was,
Right.
I have information on that that's already been. So it's not like nobody upstream's done anything. They have done stuff.
And they're willing to offer more.
Yeah. I mean, so everybody's.
Does Pine Lake try and take the lead on this, or what? I mean, someone from.
Actually, Daryl's taking the lead.
Well, I know he is,
we've got
but I'm
that
not sure it's.
project right now.
I'm not sure it's his.
What was that, about a month ago that we sat with all the
Yeah, we
major
had
entities?
people from the
and
DNR, the NRCS.
There are a lot of people that were
Mhm.
interested.
Yep.
They just need to
Yep.
get moving if the opportunity is going to be there for only a little bit longer.
But when we say the words, well, we need to just get moving, we need to do this, I just was wanting, sometimes you need that person, not
Right.
sometimes, you do need that person
Mhm.
that's in charge, and I'm not sure, you need to be working with them, but I'm not sure that's our county engineer's goal. Like, say, you don't have the expertise in wetlands, and we need to find that committee or that person, I guess, and I don't know if that comes from the Pine Lake itself, or if that comes from a higher up, or.
To me, and I don't know all the facts, but everything points to this is an NRCS project.
Okay.
That's what it points to me.
That'd be
The
Gary.
DNR has skin in the game because obviously the lake is what's gonna be improved. But if that lake wasn't there, that phosphorus is still coming down and going into the outer river.
Yeah, good point.
So, you know, it's Pine Creek. You know, and maybe without the lake, maybe that phosphorus is diluted enough, you know, I don't know, but we're trying to stop that erosion and all that stuff. Chemicals getting, you know, into the Iowa River, which goes over to whatever, I don't know where it goes, but in the end,
Upper
it's up
Pine's taking the hit right now.
yeah. And if you look at it, and I've said it before, Upper Pine Lake, to me, is there to protect Lower Pine Lake. Lower Pine Lake is your good lake, and Upper Pine Lake is there to protect it. So, you know, if it gets full of algae and no fish, then that's what it was designed to do, in my opinion,
Mhm.
if you do nothing.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if we could.
We need to find somebody to take point on that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I've never had really experience in this type of project, so I can sit here and say it's this or it's the DNR, you know,
Right.
and I'd love to point the finger, but my luck would come around and say, well, you know, you really should be doing this, Darryl.
Mhm.
Bottom line, you'll, at least a minimum a letter to give them the deadlines that we're working under. So, and because about a months to a year, we need to get started with the other project if they're not gonna take the opportunity.
That's right. I guess the frustrating part is everybody's willing, which is
They were
rare.
pretty excited, yeah. It was a good meeting. Just needs to move from there.
Okay.
Any other business?
Well, we have to open the bids.
That's right. Anything
That's
else on
all right.
secondary, anything else on secondary roads?
No, that's it.
Let's go to opening bids for pavement marking project.
All right. We only received, what, 2 bids? 2, right. We had an estimate of 60,000 for this project.
$89,946.85. That was from Iowa Plains Signing. The other one was from Vogel, from Motor City. They had a bid of $61,432.64. That's who we bid it last year for us. Local, they were low last year also.
So I think we recommend you accept the bids and then for the approval of letting the contract, give us till next week to look these over, make sure that there wasn't some big mistake. There's quite a difference in the 2 numbers. And we'll bring it back to you for approval. to
I'll
award the
make a
contract.
motion that we accept the 2 bids that were given to us today and that the engineer takes them and looks them over and brings it back to us in next week or the week after on his time schedule to be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now we go to other business. Hearing none, I'll ask for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We're adjourned.